Welcome to Juicy Talk. We are glad that you're here. I said we were having a couple technical difficulties today, but we're going to breathe and woosah and bring
Oh,
it back in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We are excited.
I am.
It's been really chilly here in
Man,
Ohio.
it's beyond chilly. It's cold.
Ooh, it's cold. It's
It's
cold.
cold.
It's been cold. So we have a lot going on. We have a really great show.
hmm
Hey, producer, we got the
What's up,
producer in
producer
the
in the
building.
building? What's up?
Yes. So we've been having a lot going on, but we are excited for today's show. And we're just going to get straight into it. Hello out there in the chat.
What's up,
Hey,
everybody?
honey. Hey, Bocat in the
Okay.
building. We definitely happy to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in. And so we're going to get straight into it. So this is a very important conversation. Hey, Kim in the building. This
Kim.
this is a very important conversation that we're having tonight,
Yes,
right?
it
And it's
is.
something that no one is really actually prepared for. Nobody tell you that there's a season when your parents stop being your safety net and they need
Mm.
one,
Ooh.
right?
Okay.
And loving your parents doesn't mean you're equipped to take care of them all the time. So, we're going to talk about today love versus capacity versus obligation.
Mm.
You can love your parents deeply and still be drowning. So we're gonna get straight
Ooh.
into
That's deep.
what it's like and what happens when your parents start to age and and it's time to they're losing their independence, they're facing health issues and
hmm
becoming emotionally vulnerable and how that looks for us, right? And how do we adjust to that? Because it's something that is hard,
hmm
to adjust to. It's not something that comes naturally.
hmm
And I don't think anybody is ever prepared for that part of adulting,
Right, right.
you know. As adults, we're raising our children, we're working, we're working through our healing our childhood
hmm
wounds and trauma, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, here comes this role reverse,
Yeah.
and we're not really prepared for this. So today on the show, we're going to talk about the truth behind this, what happens when this comes about in life, and what it exposes in your family dynamic,
Mm.
the things that we ignore.
Mm.
So we're going to get straight into it. And we also have a
Yes,
special
we do.
guest that we're going to bring in who's going to talk about his experience.
hmm
We call him Big O.
Big O, big
Big
O,
O.
big O
He's
Productions.
backstage, but we're going to bring him into it in a little bit. And, I'm at this stage in my life, right, where, my parents are aging.
hmm
I am a person that, my father has faced some medical issues that he's had that we've had to say, hey, you going to the doctor, where you
Right.
kind of got to put your foot down as a child,
hmm
an
hmm
adult child
hmm
with your parents, or just even navigating. My mom had to have a surgery. She had a knee replacement,
hmm
and my mom is 72 and my father is 75, right?
Wow.
And
hmm
so I was at the doctor's office with my mom, and we're going over some of her medical things and the things that she's going through. And it was an experience
hmm
and a lot to navigate, being in this different role, watching your parents become a little bit more vulnerable when you used to run into your
hmm
parents for guidance and aid.
hmm
And now they're coming to you.
Yes,
And
yes.
so it's definitely a life-changing chapter that we have to go through and we all have to face it. Hey, Lulu in the building. So
Lulu.
it's been a very difficult navigating this process and what that looks like.
hmm Let me just say this real quick. I just want to thank you for allowing me to kind of talk about this. It's something really personal that
Mhm.
I'm actually going through, and like she says, it's been really like an eye opener. Just navigating through like she said, going to the doctor's appointments, making arrangements to uh, making sure the facility is the right facility for
Mhm.
my mom.
Can you guys hear us in the chat? Let us know if you can hear
Hear
us
us,
well
yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah, we want to make sure you guys hear us. Like I said, just navigating, this whole process. A special shout out to my aunt who is really doing a lot. She's retired, but we want to appreciate her. Let her know that I truly appreciate everything she's done to help my mother, which is her sister as well. But she's retired, but now she has to change this. Now she has to make doctor's appointments. She has to make sure she makes those appointments. Now we're in the phase of putting her in different facilities, making sure she's okay. We making sure no type of abuse or anything like that. So we're on it. If I'm not there, she's there. So we're definitely on it. So special shout out to my aunt through this process, and just kind of talk about other things like other than one of the things I know for a fact that where we grew up, everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew the Mark family and the Hamlin family, and how we just looked at each other. Now that those same people are getting older, and now we have to be the change roles. We provide health for them and take them to the appointment where they used to take us. So now it's just I don't want to say it's sad, but it's good that we're able to see our parents um, age gracefully. I think a lot of our
and respectfully.
oh,
and
absolutely,
and absolutely with dignity.
absolutely, that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I asked Big O to come on, and he's a really good dude. I know this is something he just dealt with maybe a couple years ago, so I thought it would be really appropriate for I brought up Big O because he's been through this, and I went through this with my father, and me and my aunt went through this, and this it's very personal. So I just wanted everybody to say, if I get a little emotional, just excuse it. But I just want to I just want to say it's life changing.
Yeah.
Seeing how, like you said, our parents are very
become fragile.
yeah, and just seeing that. But she's every day. She's still conscious. It's just she's not able to move like she can, but she has an appetite, and just want to make sure everything make it comfortable for her.
Yeah. So. This is something that no one ever is prepared for, and the heart of it all is that we just really, you love your parents. This is like your first experience with love, and it's something that you're never prepared for, right? Just seeing your parents age, we kind of your parents grow up as they're your first superheroes,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so when life changes and you have to start offering financial help because maybe they're not able to pay all their bills like they used to, the price of everything is going up, they're on fixed incomes, the emotional labor of it all. And you can come sometimes. We're definitely here for you, Hardy.
Thank you very much.
And it can be exhausting.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And it can cause a lot of frustration and tension with family members, and you can get burnt out. And, one of the things that we don't talk about is that not everybody is equipped to take care of their parents, and one of the questions I want to challenge us to think about is, can love exist without sacrifice? We sacrifice for our parents. And is it enough when care requires skill, money, and time? Because sometimes you can have a parent, they may have dealing with dementia and stuff like that. And, we're faced with these questions of that guilt, like, should I put my parent, I'm really not prepared to deal with the time and the effort and the energy that it may take to take care of my parent whose health is failing. And it may require money or time that you don't have. And a lot of times we're dealing with a guilt behind that, and if in our culture it is like taboo, right, to put your parents in a nursing facility. Like, it's just not something that we do. We tend to feel like culturally that our parents took care of us, they did it for us, and it's our turn,
Right.
And a lot of times it causes a lot of rift in families when you're making the decisions whether or not um, you
the type of
want to put your
decisions,
family in
right?
a home, or if you're getting an aid,
Mhm,
these conversations become very difficult for people to
mhm,
have
mhm,
with the people that they love, and you can find certain people overextending themselves.
mhm, mhm. I remember back in the day when, a long time ago, when we made special preparation for our parents, where we made that living room that person's space,
Hmm.
where she wouldn't have to walk the steps anymore. Now we make the
Hospital beds in the living room.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
those days are like wow. And I just remember that as like wow. I remember going to one of my friend's house, and his mom was like in a back room with just
Hmm.
everything she needed was there. So I could definitely relate to that. So I just
Yeah, that's a real someone just put up the comment. They said, I love my guy, but I know at the end of the day my father is going to need me, and it's like I just started my new life. That's a
mm,
real thing, when you think about juggling your family, like I said, raising kids and having a career, and these these situations become difficult. And a lot of people, they're they feel like they have to be silent,
mhm,
like they have to do it, and they don't have boundaries,
mm,
because guilt will sometimes convince you that boundaries mean you're ungrateful, and you don't want to come off as like you're not grateful for your parents and what they've done for you and the sacrifices they've made, but everybody is not equipped.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I think that's something that it's a guilt and a shame that comes along with that, and something that is very hard for people to talk about. Um, it's a huge responsibility.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's
And
a
it,
huge responsibility.
and the other thing, like everyone has to be on the same page when it comes to our parents. We have to be we are like who what is the best place for her or him. um it's sometimes it get break families up
Yeah.
sometimes. Some people feel like, oh, mom left me in charge, this, and it's just back and forth, this battle thing, and I know what's best for my mom. Well, she's my mom too. This
Yeah.
type of thing is it's sad, but it's true. This
It's
stuff
very
happens.
true.
This happens all the time.
And
It
it
happens.
sometimes it causes family members to fall out. Or the other flip mode of that is the responsibility fall on one person
Mhm,
that everybody deems to be the caregiver of the family.
mhm,
And it's so it becomes so much for those people and
mhm,
those individuals that it's overwhelming.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
They carry the brunt of the responsibility, and everybody else gets to live their life, and they're overwhelmed, and they're giving of themselves, and they don't get any days off or
mhm,
get a break. And it can be exhausting and very difficult. And they carry that burden and that shame. And, you know, it typically seems a lot of times that it falls on one family member.
mhm.
So it's a lot that goes along with it. We're gonna bring in Big O to
Big
have him
O.
really share with us his experience and what he's been through in caring for his parent as they got older. And I don't know a lot about his story, but we're gonna bring him in and let him speak on it. All right. All
All
right.
right. What's up,
Welcome.
Big O? Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
hey, hey,
What's
what's
up?
good?
Everything's
Hi.
good, man. Hey, first of all, I want to thank you again. I know I called you at the last minute. I said, Big O, man, I need you right now. I need you to kind of I need you to be a little transparent for us. Without going too deep, but I know I follow you on Facebook, and we're really good friends from back in the day. And I called him. I said, "Hey, can you come on my show?" He said, "Man, no problem. I was going to do something, but I'd rather just come here and talk on the show." First of all, I just want to thank you, big bro, for coming in and kind of telling your story about what happened, how you did with your situation, and I want to say thank you, man.
Well, hey, I appreciate the invite, man. And I tell you, first of all, I want to start off by simply saying that these are just my thoughts and my opinions because I think every situation is different. You
For
know
sure.
what I mean? Being my mother's only son,
Mm.
I went through changes because I was always considered to be a mama's boy, you know what I mean? And so as my mom's health started to fail, there were certain phone calls when she would call, depending on what she would say, would let me know how I needed to move.
Mm.
If I looked at my phone and I said, "Hey, Ma, what's going on?" She say, "Where you at?" I'm on my way. See, because my mother's first signs of MS is when she was in denial about not being able to walk 2 or 3 steps from one room to the next.
Mhm.
So she would find herself on the floor, and thank goodness she was strong enough upper body to keep herself from slamming to the floor. But
Mhm.
once she was on the floor, she couldn't get up.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so it was no problem on my way. You know, the good thing in this situation is that my dad and my sister, we all played a role. We had to find out what our roles were. See, because initially we were all so emotional. That's my mama. That's my wife. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And what we had to realize is that number one, mama was always the strong one. Like you said earlier, we could always go to mama. Hey, my head hurt. Hey, I got my leg is itching. Hey, why? And mama always had an answer. But now mama needed us. And she needed us to understand that we had to adjust to her losing her independence because she was so used to doing for everybody. And I remember one time I asked her, "Mama, if I was in that position, would I have a say so in what you did?" She said, "No, because I'm your mama.
Mm.
I brought you into this world. I seen this, I seen that." So I give you a prime example. When it came to a point where my mother could no longer make it to the restroom on her own,
Mm.
I, as her son, could never go and change her. She said that's not going to happen. That's
Mhm.
either going to be your sister or your dad. You will never,
Mhm.
as long as I have the ability to say so, you will never see that part of your mother. And so initially, I felt some kind of way, but I had to remember her independence, her pride, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so I had to find where I was going to fit in with my dad and my sister. And so we were blessed that, like you said about going to a nursing home. Oh no, that wasn't an option. We dealt with the rehab centers and all of that, but my mom said, "Oh no, I'm not staying here."
Right.
You
Right.
know, but let me say this to you. It becomes very humbling when you find out that your parent or parents need help that you really aren't prepared to provide. You
Mhm.
know, so when folks say, "Oh, I'm not putting my mom in a nursing home," it's not that you want to put her in a nursing home, but are you equipped to give her a bath? Are you equipped to turn her to keep them bed sores from getting worse? Are you prepared to feed her 3 times? Are you prepared to give her the therapy? I mean, it's a long list of things.
Absolutely.
And so we had a strong supporting cast, myself, my dad, and my sister. And so what my responsibility became is that I could never let my mother's room smell, regardless of what. So if my sister came and gave her a bath, my dad would feed her, and then it would be my responsibility to come in and clean up so that the room always smelled fresh. She said, "Don't let my room smell like no river of poop." And that's the clean version, if you get what I'm saying. So along with that, my dad had great, not good, but great insurance. So on top of us doing our part, she had a nurse that would come by that could do little things. And you know how our moms are. You can't just come in here and invade her space. So it took
Absolutely.
trial and error before we could find a nurse that
Right.
my mother felt comfortable with, that my mother would say, "Okay, come on, baby, do your thing." You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't just coming here for the payday. You had to genuinely care about my mother or it wasn't gonna work.
That's
And
right.
so over a period of time, like I heard you say, it became very emotional. But for me, that's my mama. You know what I'm saying? And all the sacrifices she made, if I had to work 2 jobs to provide, I was prepared to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there were times when we didn't know how I was going to get a lot of things. And mama and daddy say, don't worry about it. You know what they used to tell me when I was little? If me, you, and your mama can't get it, you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? If mama working 2 jobs, daddy working 2 jobs, and you trying and we can't get it, you don't need it.
For
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So for me, I'm blessed to say this in all strength, man. I'm blessed that myself and my sister had the same energy. Like when it comes to mama, we weren't taking those shortcuts. You know, even if we was tired, you better be tired and keep it to yourself. You better get over there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if it was, baby, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. Because I know when I need it, you're going to be there. So we had a great supporting cast. And let me tell you something. I find myself, unfortunately, my mother passed away 4 years ago this month. You know what I mean? And every day, if you ever see my lives, I'm always talking about something. You remember when you was little and mama say, one day you're going to thank me for this, or you're going to remember this. One thing that my mother used to always say, if you got something that you want somebody to know, good, bad, or ugly, let them know while their eyes are open and they can hear you. Because, baby, when my eyes are closed, all that hooping and hollering and yelling and screaming, I'm sorry, I love you, I shoulda, I woulda, ain't gonna mean nothing to nobody but that person that's doing all the hooping, hollering, yelling, and screaming.
Mhm.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So the advice, and when I say that every situation is different, I get it. But you got to remember this, that we all need help sometimes, right? None of us are exempt to the trials, the tribulations, nor the troubles of this world, right?
That's
And
true.
as you sit here this evening, I'm going to ask you something. Have you ever been in a position or a situation and you say, why is this happening to me? You
Absolutely.
ever ask yourself that?
We all have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And guess what somebody will say? Guess what somebody with wisdom on life will say? Why not you?
Mhm.
Mhm.
What makes you any better than anybody else?
That's true.
Hey, these are the things that make the world go round.
Mhm.
And so for me, I guess at the end of the day, it boils down to the love. And these are just my thoughts and my opinion now,
Mhm.
but it boils down to the love that you have for your mother, your father. Yeah, it could be your significant other. Listen, let me tell you something.
That's
As we're blessed to get older, man, and you start thinking about our health declining, hey, when the last time you dropped your car keys and looked at them and tried to figure out how you was going to bend down and pick them up? I kicked my keys last week, tried to hit them off the wall so they'll bounce up so I wouldn't have to bend over and pick them up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Don't
get
get
Dude, you've been knowing me for years, bro. I've been a gym rat all my life, man. But now I'm about to turn 59, and let me tell you something.
What you got
I
to
had a very humbling situation, bro. My refrigerator in my garage went out. I couldn't sit it on the curb because where I live, we can't do that.
Mhm.
So I pushed it to the garage, bagged my truck up. Once upon a time, you know, I would have grabbed the refrigerator from the bottom, slid it on the truck. Dude, I stood there and looked at the refrigerator. Said, how am I going to get this refrigerator on the truck? Because see, my mind said, Big O, you could do it. My body said, man, you better quit playing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So where I'm at is that I'm trying to embrace getting older. Instead of being frustrated about the things that I can't do, I can still do it, just not at the pace that I once did. So when we think about our parents, you just said, hey, we could go to mama and daddy for money, definitely knowledge.
Mhm.
You ever, hey, as a female, I know you done called your mama and say, mama, ain't nobody around, is it? Hey, I gotta tell you something. Oh, baby, that ain't, hey, let me tell you. And she gave the quickest remedy, right?
Mhm.
Even for us as boys, Jew,
Yes, sir.
mama always got an answer, man.
It's
And listen, I'm gonna be 59, God willing, in a few weeks, right? And there are times, man, where I still pick up my phone because I say, man, I need to ask my mama a question.
Mm.
What will my mama do? What will my mama say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I will tell you this. I take it personal when I know that someone still has their mother or their father and they don't check on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you ain't never too busy to pick up the phone and say, hey, mom, I'm just checking on you. Hey, daddy, I love you, man. Hey, I'm just making sure everything is everything. Hey, you can't be too busy that you can't go knock the snow off your mama front steps in case she need to get out the house, or in case somebody want to bring her some food, or just because. Hey, because guess what? When we didn't have nothing, guess what we had? We had mama. There is no love in the world like mama's love. Don't get me wrong. Daddies, we're special too, but mama, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mama make you believe you could do some things you ain't never think you could do.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So for me, it wasn't hard to make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this: when my mother, there's this rehab center up here off of Emory. You know, when you're going up Emory, you make the right down that street. There's like 3 rehab centers back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my mother was at a time where we couldn't care for her because the things that she were going through required medical attention
Mm-hmm.
around the clock. But you all know what happened at rehab centers and nursing homes when they don't see family members on the regular.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mama might be laying in poop, or mama might not get that bath. Well, guess what? They couldn't do that to my mama because once again, I'm up with the worms. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So I would come in 8 different times. I'm popping, hey, big fella. Yeah, I'm here. And then at lunchtime, my sister there. Huh?
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
So you stated that you eventually, it got to the point with your mom where you had to make the decision of, putting her in a nursing home. Is that correct?
Well, no, there was a point in time where she needed medical attention that we couldn't provide for her at home.
Okay.
So there really was no choice. You know what I'm saying? It's like the doctors weren't going to come to the house 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So we had to put her in a medical facility until her status got better.
So she was able to, she might have just been hospitalized for a time or in a rehabilitation center and then came home.
It was for months at a time. Like she was in a rehab center for a period of time where she was like, hey, are y'all going to ever bring me home?
Okay.
Bed sores can be horrible, man. If they're not getting turned like they should, a bed sore, and I don't want to be too graphic, but they are rated from like 1 to 5. Some bed sores you could look at and you could see the bone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so for that, you got to have somebody that's constantly turning and treating and
bandaging it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to change them bandages. You know what I'm saying? But we played our role with that by staying visible, making sure we were holding those folks at that rehab center accountable, because you're not going to mistreat my mom. You know what I mean? She still had her wits, but she just couldn't move.
I think that's a lot of, in our community, it's just this taboo. Like, we do not put our family members in homes. In other cultures, it's something that they prepare for. They pay the money. They make sure that their family members are in facilities, but that's not something that we do culturally.
You know why we don't do it?
I was going to ask a question about that. I wanted to know, do you think that that's, I know a couple reasons why we wouldn't do it, but do you think that that's always the best decision?
No, like I said, every situation is different. And it really, to me, boils down to how bad the medical situation is, right? Mm-hmm. If me, you, and Julius are siblings, but we can't provide the care that our mother needs or our father needs, we have to make the best decision. Do you know when a person goes to a nursing home, anything that's in their name, you better get rid of it, because do you know how expensive it is to be in a nursing home?
Oh,
You
it
know,
is.
you know how many people lose their homes paying for somebody to be in a nursing home?
Yeah. Well, also, it also goes with, they look at whatever assets that you spend
Hmm.
within a 5-year period. So it's not like you could just be like, oh, I'm gonna take all, like, mom might have had $40,000 in her, you know,
Checking account, savings
checking
account.
account, savings account, and now you just gonna move it over to yours. No, you gotta
It's
account
across
for
the board.
those nursing homes, Medicaid, Medicare, they want to know what you have done with this money, and you have to state what you've done with this
Right.
money, unless it's set up in a trust. But that's like a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation. But there's these are the things that happens, and these are the responsibilities, and also that financial piece.
Mm.
Who does
Yeah.
that responsibility fall on? It can be very expensive paying for a home health aid. And if mom had a fixed income, or she just had your father's
Benefits.
So let me tell you about that part.
Mhm.
Because my dad, in my eyes, was the man. You know what I mean? When my sister and myself came to him, like, you ever see somebody have a prescription that maybe one pill a month costs $700, and
Mm.
your health insurance is only paying $250,
Mhm.
right? So imagine going to dad saying, "Hey, this month I'm gonna pay for it. Next month sis gonna pay for it," and he say, "No, no, no, that's my wife," because
Mm.
he's still the man.
Mhm.
But guess what? We all need help sometimes, and so we all had to grow and learn and understand that while we're emotional and we're watching our loved one decline, we have to make the best sound decisions and not always thinking about ourselves. Ooh, I get choked up. But for our mother or father, you hear me?
Mm.
Because I will share this with you, and this right here was like the biggest humbling thing that I've ever experienced in my life.
Mhm.
I got a phone call that said, "Hey, where you at?" I said, "I'm on my way to the second job." They said, "No, you better get over here and see mama because it's not looking good."
Mm.
Well, guess what? Because I've always known my mama to be so strong. Initially, you know what I said? I get over there, but this time was different. Something said, "Hey man, you can't always have perfect attendance at your job. You better get over there."
Absolutely.
And so I went. It was on a Monday. I'll never forget. January 4th, 2022.
Mm.
I went over there and I walk in the room. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to mama. You know what I mean? And my sister come in, my dad come in, and we sitting around, a little time pass, and the nurse comes and says the time is getting close because her breathing, she's panting. Her breathing is changing.
Mm.
So me, my dad, and my sister, we go back in the room, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Mm.
I had to apologize to my dad because my dad leaned down and he hugged my mom and he said, "Baby, if you're tired, I understand. We understand." And for the first time in my life, I stood up on my dad and I challenged him. I said, "Man, what are you talking about?
Mm.
How dare you tell her it's okay?" Because I'm emotional,
Mhm.
right? And so my
Mm.
mom unfortunately passed away. And as I played it back in my mind, do you know how hard our mother or father will fight to stay around for us, no matter how much pain they're in?
That's so
And when it
true.
was brought to my attention,
Mm.
"Hey man, do you know how much pain mama was in? How dare you be that selfish to want her to stay here and suffer for
Mm.
you?" But in our eyes, guess what? There's no better place for us with our mama than here, right? But when I thought about that pain
Mm.
and I thought about all the sacrifices, oh man, I had to go back. And hey, as a grown man, hug my daddy and say, "Man, I apologize."
Ooh.
Because guess what? Mama had suffered a long time not wanting to leave us and let us down because she was worried about how's my son going to survive? What is my daughter going to do?
Mm.
My husband, I've been married to this dude 45 years. What is he going to do? Huh?
Oh, pretty much all they know.
How, and then
Mm.
I imagine it must be very difficult to then, your father, how to manage without your mom,
So right now,
Mm.
the same display of love that we have for our mother, my sister and I, like, he don't get no days off. Either she calling, I'm calling, or she there and I'm there. And he's still mobile. I'm blessed that he's still able to get on his 3-wheel motorcycle and ride it when he wants to. You know what I mean? But it's challenging. When he says, man, I'm so used to looking to my right and seeing your mama laying there and she's no longer here. To see a tear run down my dad's eye, the man that I've always looked at to be that dude. But guess what, ladies? Men, we can be emotional.
Yeah.
We have our strong fronts, but we can be emotional. And there are times where we sit around and we laugh and we cry sometimes. Some of the stories we're like, man, what would your mama say if she was here now? Like, I'll give you another prime example, and it's getting a little off, but I have a daughter that I didn't meet until she was 24. You hear me? And so my daughter came to Cleveland and she was a little off the hook. You know what I'm saying? But at 24 and being a girl, because I raised all boys, I really didn't know how to reach out to her. And some of the things that she was doing, and I was just like, baby, you better be glad that Granny is in the position that she in, right? Because we just talked about earlier how mama's always got answers. I said, baby, if my mama was on her feet and moving, she would have gave you some act right real quick, and everything would have been everything. You know what I mean? And so my daughter now has 2 children, and she can relate to what we were saying about that act right and that mother's love. And it's not what we say or what we do, but how we say it and how we do it. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
So how did family dynamics make the situation harder, or did it? Was there any difficulty in the family dynamics that would make caring for your mother, your aging parents more difficult?
The hard part was watching them decline. As far as our part and what was needed, we didn't second guess it.
The family dynamics of it.
I guess our situation, considering what we went through, we were blessed, man. There was just no selfishness. Like, whatever needed to be done, we jumped out the tree to do it. Like, I'll give you an example. When my mom used to have to go to the doctor, there was a point where I could just pick her up, walk her outside, sit her in my dad's truck, right? But as she became a little more fragile, it was harder to do that. And so we would have to rent a van. Can you imagine renting a wheelchair accessible van for 4 hours, but you only really need it for an hour? Because you got to pay, you got to take her to the doctor, wait for the exam, and bring her back home. And now you done paid $200-$300 and you only needed this thing for an hour. Now, I'm sure each one of us from time to time said, hey, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
But you did what you had
to. Hey, but guess what? It's my mama.
You're right.
So we were blessed that myself, my dad, and my sister were able. Nobody had to just take on the load. Like you said, we've heard a million stories where everything falls on one person. One person's taking care of mama and daddy. One person's making sure this is done. One person trying to pay the bills, and they running themselves ragged. You know what I mean? But I can honestly tell you that I'm thankful for my upbringing. Yeah. And when my mom closed her eyes, I didn't have to hoop and holler and put on a show because I knew that I did the best that I could. I know that she knew that I loved her. Wasn't no question. And I tell you, when I hear folks dragging their feet. Like, I don't know.
Mm.
Every situation is different, but for somebody to say, man, I don't talk to my mother. We don't get along. What?
Yeah. Insanity.
But,
Yeah.
but, you know, once again, every story is different. But I can't imagine nothing being that bad. Do you realize sometimes the tough conversations make the best conversations?
Mm. Some people ain't ready for those tough conversations, though, Big O.
Hey, guess what, you are never ready for them. You got to put on your big boy or big girl pants and hit it head on.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you think you're so mad at your mama and you get that phone call, I bet you reaching to call her now.
Yeah.
I bet you running because you want to say something to her now.
So let me ask a question. I know I want to ask a question for the chat. If you're in the chat and you're watching, have you ever cared for an aging parent, or are you caring for an aging parent right now? If that's the case, put a ones or either a thumbs up in the chat. It's so crazy. I have just embarked on this part of life where some of the people that I care about, friends, have lost their parents, and it is probably one of the most difficult things to really comfort a friend about, because you're never prepared. Like, we know that this is something that we all have to face one day, as our parents getting ill,
up in age
or passing. It's something that we all have to deal with, but you are never prepared. You're never prepared. You're never ready for it. And it just seems like something that is so hard to just wrap your mind around. I know culturally, like in my family, we have this thing, family take care of family. And we've had the conversations about, like, well, who would take care of who in the event that something happens to our family members. And I just remember with my grandmother, she got dementia, Alzheimer's later on in life. And now that I look back on it, she probably had it for longer than we actually really realized. And it was very difficult. And making that decision to move her from her home, because my grandmother was always very independent. She always lived by herself in her own home, after, her husband passed and it was just her. She had lived at home for so many years by herself. It was very difficult for my parents and my uncle and aunts to make the decision to have her, that she went to go live with my uncle. And it was soon after that she passed away, because moving her from her environment
took her out her element.
Taking her out her element. I mean, ultimately she gave up, and just how, like, making that decision seems like such a hard decision to make. And I remember my dad saying, like, he has so many questions that he still wanted to ask his mom, so many things that he wanted to know. And you would think that my grandmother was in her late 70s. I think she was like 78, which is fairly young in today's standard, but she was like 78. And it was just such a difficult place. And it was so many different, how can I say it? Family dynamics that played into her passing. Like, different people weren't okay with certain things that happened. And, how was she going to be buried? If she was, my grandmother had this real big thing about, her wigs. She ain't play. Her hair was always, she will always tell us, when I lived with her when I was a teenager, and she will always say, don't you let them bury me without my wig. I don't care. Don't have my edges out,
right.
Bury me with my wig and make sure I'm looking good, and, she ended up being buried without her wig on. And it was like a family, like, rift. Like, we was upset. Like, people were mad because this was something that she always said. And, I think that no one is prepared for And, as her granddaughter, it wasn't really my place. This was her son who made that decision, to honor his mother in her natural state because that's how he saw her and felt that she was beautiful. But we was all looking at each other like, Granny gonna have a fit, I know. So it's those difficult conversations. Is this something that you feel like you should discuss in the beginning? Like when your parents are like, is this a conversation that you should have with your parents now as they're getting older? How would you like to be buried? Like, what would
Absolutely.
you want us to honor in your last days?
So when it comes to that, I often talk about that on my live. And I think as adults ourselves, we need to have that talk. And we need to put on our big boy girl pants once again and sit down and put it on paper and have it notarized so that there's no questions. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I have often said that I fear death myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when my mother asked me why, she told me don't give her an answer right away, but to think about it and come back with an answer. And it took me a couple of days, and guess what my answer was? I don't fear death for Big O, but I'm blessed to have a wife. I'm blessed to have 5 children. At the time, I had both my parents and my sister. And in my mind, I'm saying, who's going to look out for them and take care of them like me? So with that being said, I haven't done it yet, but I need to sit down and put down
I had that
which
conversation.
kid gets what. And I want a brown suit with a tan shirt and tie. Take my gaiters off. Don't put my gaiters in the ground. You know what I mean? But it's things like that. And in the same way that you just smile like that, when they read it, they're going to say, yeah, that's what my daddy wanted. And now it's not up for debate. So these are things that we need to talk about, what they call like preventive maintenance, things like that on life. We need to get out in front of it because guess what? None of us know the date, the time, nor the hour.
That's
So
true.
And it's going to be hard enough when we leave here for everybody grieving. And now somebody's saying, damn, what should we put daddy in? Should we cremate him? Should we have a service? Should we have a repast? Should we party? Who gonna get this car? Who gonna? Yeah, we take care of the business in advance.
Mhm.
And I ain't say it was gonna be easy, but it's something that we need to do.
I definitely feel like that's something that we need to do. I feel like we prepare for so many different things in life. We prepare our credit to buy a home. We prepare all these different things. We go to school, we have a
Weddings,
job, a wedding,
education.
family. We buy insurance for our cars, for our homes, for, all of these different things, and even planning for your retirement. But we don't plan for our death. And I feel like it's something that we need to really
It's
take.
scary.
It's scary and people don't want to talk about
It's
it.
kind of like unspoken. We don't talk
Yeah,
about
and
it.
and I've even heard people say, "Well, I don't even care what happened. I'm gonna be gone anyway. It ain't gonna matter." But
Yeah, but if you had something to say about 5 minutes before you checked out, you care.
yeah,
Don't you put me in no box and just slide me in the water.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody said I recently made an appointment for an estate planning and pre-funeral planning. Priorities, priorities, priorities. I agree, Bocat, and I think it's something that we do. We'll plan. We get prenups and all kind of stuff that we plan for, but we do not plan
But
for
let me say this. You know why we don't plan for it? You know
why
why we don't plan for it?
we don't
Because
expect.
we're not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Right.
But guess what? That's one thing for sure that we ain't gonna be able to avoid.
I know
Yeah.
that's
We ain't
right.
gonna be able to slow it down. We ain't gonna be able to take a reroute
Mm.
when it comes.
Mm.
And you know what? Yeah, see, you're making me accountable because now I'm gonna go upstairs and talk to my wife and say, baby, I'm gonna go get us a pint of Apple Crown, and we just gonna have to sit down and
had this real difficult conversation.
but
Yeah,
guess what? If we do it one time,
That's
Because
it.
we didn't cry for a whole lot of other things, so we need to cry while doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a real conversation that I feel like needs to be had. Like even,
Absolutely.
I think out of my siblings, I'm probably the only one who kind of really knows what like my father would want in the event that he passed. Like I think we kind of all collectively know what my mom want, and I know we didn't have conversations like with my mom, just in past, like, oh, well, it was my time. I'm gonna tell y'all this like right now, this the color, this, that. But I don't think a lot of my siblings really actually talk to my father about this type of thing because, my father always says like he wants to live forever and hope they find a cure for death, But that's my dad's
Yeah,
personality.
yeah, he's a
But
great man.
it's something that we have talked about, as his child. Like these are conversations that I always want to have because I feel like it's very important to honor that part of our parents. But one thing that I have not done is I haven't talked about this with my kids. I haven't had
Exactly.
conversations with my own children. And I think until right now that I have thought about it to myself, and I've probably even had conversations with my girlfriends, like my homegirls, and
Mhm.
but
So which children do you talk to? Do you talk to the older one, or do you talk to the mid, or do you sit them all down?
that's a good question too. And I mean, for me, thinking off top, I would say that I would bring this up to my most responsible of my children.
Got you. Good answer. Good
Yeah,
answer.
I would bring it to him because I feel like he would be the one that I would share
You're
that.
gonna handle the business.
Yeah, he's gonna be the. I already know who would be the kid. My other kid is too small right now, but he would be the one. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
It says three things. Oh, put that back up for me. I'm sorry. Three things everyone should do is designate a medical power of attorney, create a living will, and go to the attorney and have your last will and testament written out.
And notarize. Yeah.
Absolutely have it notarized.
Yes, definitely. And I've heard people say that, what they say, the poor man's will, take a send send yourself an email,
Mm.
with all your wishes on it and that they will honor that too. But I think that at this stage of life, we should go get that kind of thing handled and make sure that it's out there. Like we've been recently talking about finances on the show. We're getting ready to do this whole thing where we're all, gonna read this book, Money Makeover by David Ramsey.
Mhm.
And so we're embarking on that. But I think that this is so important to really just think about, hey, planning for our future, planning for
Just
You
every
ever read the book Rich Man, Poor Man?
I heard about
all
that.
all of those books. So we have to go back and watch our last financial
Sure.
Okay.
we did about 2 weeks ago, but it was really informative and 2 Thursdays ago, I will say, but definitely something that we're into right now. So we thank you, Big O, for
Big
coming
O,
on.
man, you
Thank you
just
for sharing your
man,
experience with us. I really, really, truly appreciate you, your transparency.
absolutely,
And
bro.
I think this
Appreciate it.
was a really great show. And thank you for being vulnerable with us and trusting us to share your story with your family and your loved ones. And one thing that I could hear in listening to your conversation is your mom left a great legacy in her children of love, because the one thing that resonated with me is how much she was loved and how much she must have loved all of you because she gave that to you and you reciprocated what in her final days, it was reciprocated to her, the love that you guys felt for her. So thank you. And she left a beautiful legacy in her children.
Hey, I appreciate you
That-
inviting me and allowing me to check in and make sure that everything is everything, man. Let me tell you something.
What's up, Big O?
There's nothing better for me
Mhm.
than being able to be transparent sometimes because as you can understand, as men, man, we were raised with tough love, and I couldn't tell you 10 years ago, hey bro, I love you, be safe going home. They look at me like, what's going on with y'all? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But soon as something happened, we kicking and screaming and yelling and hollering. So if I can tell you when your eyes is closed, I should be able to tell you so you can hear me and appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, hey, fellas, because I ain't never been a woman, so I can't speak for the ladies. But fellas, man, let's continue to be transparent and hold ourselves accountable. And once again, if you have something that you want somebody to know, good, bad, or ugly, in the late, great words of my mother, tell them while their eyes are open and they can hear you. Because once our eyes are closed, baby, it's over.
Yes.
Big, I just want to say this, man. I just want to say, man, I just really appreciate you came on. I mean, you did everything I expected of you tonight. Your transparency, your genuine, your love for your mother. And I just want to thank you so much. You just made this show so amazing.
Oh, it's all love, brother. I appreciate it.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
You definitely.
You probably
could
touched a
tell
lot
by
of
the
people.
chats, yeah.
You touched a lot of people. You also touched me a little bit, but we go way back, Big O. And
For sure.
you've been like the same person that I met the very first time. And I just want to say I love you, big bro. I appreciate everything that you told me. And I'm there for you. So
hey, I appreciate it. Love you too, man. Hey, y'all be good. And listen, do you come on the same time every week?
Every week, every Thursday
at 8 p.m. Yes, we
All
do.
right, I got to put that in my calendar, man. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said it's so simple and it's so important to establish a legacy for your family. Life and Legacy counselors offer free monthly estate planning workshops every first Friday, 11 a.m. and third Monday, 6 p.m. Where is that at exactly? Life and Legacy counselors. Is there an address or a place or is it online? Please let us know in the chat because that was great information. And thank you for sharing that, Bocat. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, hey.
This was really, really great.
I know, man.
I really appreciate it. This was a great, great show. Thank you so much. I want you to stay. I'm going to put you backstage, Big O, but don't disconnect for right now. We really appreciate you. So thank you so much for coming on, okay?
All right.
All righty.
Thank you.
So,
Whew,
great. Any
man.
final takeaway? Any closing reflections?
Oh, man. Like, I think we touched on a lot of stuff that we probably didn't really think about. I think we touched on a lot of areas, talking about having conversations that's tough to have in life, that sometimes will form us later. So it was a great show. I think this is probably one of the top 5 shows we've done. Yeah,
Definitely
sure.
good. I would say my takeaway is, one of the scriptures that my dad always talks about is honor your mother and father. I think that just resonates with me, and Big O definitely did his big one and honoring his mom. And honor doesn't always look like you got to do everything alone. It takes, that's one of the things that I really took away from the conversation tonight, that he had help and he didn't do it alone. And sometimes honor looks like asking for help as well. And telling the truth about just how you're feeling, and also being the person to admit that I can't carry this all on my own. I know that you're going through something with your mom, and I'm here for you, friend. If you ever need me, I'm here.
Absolutely.
And I got your back like 50 stacks. I know, you know
right?
that. And we don't have to carry it by ourselves, And we can say like, hey, this is a lot, this is tough. I need help and I need a break. It's okay. I know I have friends that are listening that are going through things, and I always offer my help. I really mean it. If I tell somebody I'm here for you and I'll come sit with your mom and I got your back, if you need a break and just need to just go to sleep, I got you. I really do mean that. And so, you know, it's okay. You don't have to carry it by yourself. You can call on your loved ones, your family, your friends to be here for you, and know that it takes a village. And through all aspects of our life, you know, it comes that you don't have to abandon wisdom, peace, or mental health in the process of taking care of your aging parents.
Mhm.
You can do it all. It just takes, you know, honesty, support, and grace,
Mhm.
and allowing people to know that you need help. So
Absolutely.
thank you so very much for everybody that tuned in. I hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks. If you are not and you have not and you're watching us, please like and subscribe
Subscribe.
on YouTube every week, Thursday, 8
o'clock.
p.m. And also, I want to say that don't forget, if you have not gotten your book for the month of February, we will be working on our financial literacy, right? And we're going to be reading this book together. I have my book. I got mine. You got your book yet?
Yep, I get my book.
You got your book. You better have your book.
I know,
I'm
right?
glad you got your book. And so definitely, I want you guys to follow me, Juicy Talk, on Facebook so that you can keep up with the schedule on the or either the YouTube community, because I want you to be on the schedule so we can make sure that we're keeping up and we're reading the book on time. We're going to finish it in the month of February. So we're going to start February 1st. We'll end it at the last day. I think it's the 28th of
Yes.
February.
Mhm.
And also, and then that next following Thursday, the first Thursday in March, we're going to have David come back on, and he's going to talk to us about the book, and we're going to talk about our financial journey together with someone that is the financial guru. So I want to keep that in the forefront of your mind. But thank you so very much for everybody. A big shout out to Big O. Thank you so much
Big
for
O.
coming on and being a part of our show. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you for
Thank
everything.
you for being open. And we really appreciate, I really appreciate you.
I appreciate
And
you
I'm
too.
sure you helped a lot of people today. So thank you. We will see you next week.
Next week.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.